Hello, everybody, and thanks for watching Chat with Trina. Today is a pretty special show for me. I'm interviewing my Aunt Pat, also known as Patricia Headen and Mama Pat to some of you. Join us in an awesome conversation about so many things. My aunt has had an awesome, exciting, adventurous life. She's a trail rider, she's a mother, and also in her former life, she was the manager of one of the hottest clubs on the OST Strip. She was also a former bull riding champion. Can you believe it? At only 90 pounds, she was riding a bull. But let me introduce you to Patricia Pat Headen, my super aunt. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? This is
Hello.
Trina with Chat with Trina. And who am I here with today?
Pat Headen.
My Aunt Pat.
Yes.
My Aunt Pat. First, I want to let you guys know as a disclaimer that we are practicing social distancing. As I mentioned last week in my video last week, that we're, how far are we? We about 6. We far enough. But on top of that, we have all been tested.
Yes.
My sister's been tested. My mama, my daddy. Who else? Destiny and
Your Aunt Pat.
and my Aunt Pat. We've all been tested. So at this time, we are all.
Positive.
No, we're not positive.
We're negative.
Negative.
Yeah.
Negative.
Negative.
We're negative. So we're gonna get started. This is my Aunt Pat. She calls me Aunt Trina. Why do you call me Aunt Trina?
Well,
Tell that
when you
story.
were born, I was too young to be an auntie.
So you thought-
I told you, you my auntie. I'm not your auntie. So I've been calling you Aunt Trina since day one.
But it backfired
Yes, it did.
because I still call her Aunt Pat.
Yes, she
So
does.
yeah. So anyway, we're gonna get into it. My auntie is very interesting. She probably doesn't know how interesting she is. And I've always said that when I started doing these shows, I was definitely gonna interview her. We probably could even do a 2-parter, but I've watched her throughout being a little girl all the way up, and all the things that she does, it's amazing. And she's so energetic, and I'd say sometimes that's where I got it from. But let's get started.
Okay.
We're gonna get your whole name.
My name is Patricia Ann Williams Headen Ceramic Knight Bernstein. You asked me, I told you.
Them all your government names?
Yes.
Okay. Headen, was that your...
First husband.
Okay, that was Leroy.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, raised in a little town called Fidelity, which is the outskirts of Galena Manor and Galena Park. I was raised with all Caucasians because our school was in Fidelity, and it was the only black school that was in the Galena Park Independent School District at that time, until segregation came.
Oh, wow.
And instead of them busing Caucasians to the black school, they completely closed down an all-black school that has only been built for 15 years.
Wow.
So my aunts and myself, we all protested. I got kicked out.
Because you protested?
Yes. So I've always been an activist. I've always been on the side that, no, you can't do this. No, the law says.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Standing for what's right, because they always say, what, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything?
Exactly.
I'm on that. I'm on that. On that note, so the school that closed down, is that the school like where Aunt Morris, we used to have a parade?
Well, my
Was that
auntie,
there?
my auntie and them were the last class to graduate from the old Fidelity, which was an auditorium on Bolden Street. And then they built the new school, Fidelity.
Somebody calling you?
Somebody calling
Diana,
me.
we busy.
We
That's
busy.
Diana.
We
That
busy.
Diana?
I don't know.
Diana, we busy.
I'm gonna, yeah.
I thought
I'm
I saw
gonna
that.
turn it off. Okay, I'm gonna.
What high school did you end up going to, though?
I ended up going to Worthing, in which I
Okay.
got kicked out in 2 weeks because I learned about drugs.
Oh.
And then I went back to Fidelity, and my mom and one of the principals, who was Mr. Milton Frazier, made an agreement
Okay.
because they didn't want me to go there anymore. He said, well, she has enough credits to graduate, so why don't you just keep her home? And
Well, thank God you were good at school.
I was
What was your favorite subject?
math.
Okay.
Math.
I can see that in some of the
I
stuff
love
that
math.
you've done. Okay, so then when high school was over for you, what did you do then?
I went to South Texas Junior College, which is downtown. Now it's called University of
school.
Houston.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, South Texas Law School is different from South Texas Junior College, which is now called University of Houston.
Okay.
So I did my 2 years there for business administration.
Okay.
I did that, and then I went on to business school, which was Haggis Vocational and Technical School.
Okay.
And then I moved.
So, did you model during that time?
It was after that I went into modeling, and how that happened was that there was a store in Palm Center back then called Guys and Cats Boutique.
Okay.
And the owner, Ali, she was a designer. And we got a notice about this event that was happening in Memphis, Tennessee, and they was looking for models and fresh designers. We drive to Memphis, Tennessee, entered into this.
Drove to Memphis?
Yes, 9.5 hours. And we entered into Albany's.
When Ebony Fashion Fair.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was one of the models.
Okay, Ebony Fashion Fair.
Yes.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yes, and thank God the outfit that I had on that was designed by Miss Ali Louise Wilkerson White, she designed the outfit. So not only did we win Rookie Designer of the Year, I also won #1 Model of the Year for Ebony Fashion Fair.
And let me ask you this, did you have on a red outfit?
No, it was gold.
Orange?
No, it was
You were
gold.
in a paper though. I remember being a little girl and there was this.
That was the second outfit.
Okay.
The first outfit
okay.
is what won me the
Oh,
competition.
okay,
And I
okay.
did win first place. And it was good. So I had the opportunity to model for Ebony. But to be honest, it was a little bit too slow for me in life.
The Ebony Fashion Fair part? Or
The Ebony fashion period was too slow for me in life because I had bigger goals.
okay.
And I wanted to see the world.
I
I
was-
got married in 1970. And then after that, I stayed in Houston and I moved to a place called New Kensington, Pennsylvania. My first
wow.
time out of Houston, and it was amazing. My first time on an airplane with my first husband,
Okay.
and we went there.
And y'all lived there for a while.
We lived there for a while.
Okay.
And then we came back, and that's when I entered college, because he was in college
Okay,
too.
okay.
And so we both went to the same college, South Texas Junior College, and he was a Vietnam vet. So it was good.
Okay.
He got killed at Bay Cliff Marina in 1973.
Why did I think?
Tough.
How did he get killed? He drowned? Or?
He drowned. He was out fishing with some friends, and the boat capsized. He saved all of them, but he didn't make it back to shore.
Oh,
So,
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So after that, you had to regroup.
I really had to regroup.
Yeah. How long were y'all married?
3.5 years.
Oh, wow. Y'all was still kind of newlyweds.
Oh yes, it was still
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
Yes. It was devastating, but I had a good parent. My mom, she was just there for me, and she just talked me through it and was just there, you know. And her thing about it was that life goes on, you know, and you can't just give up. Just do what you want to do.
Right. Any guilt about moving on and doing what you want to do?
No.
Okay. Because sometimes people will be like, I cannot live. But what if people say this, or what if people say that? But apparently you one of those that don't really have that issue about what people say.
I really don't.
Yeah.
I really
How
don't.
did you do that? How did you?
I moved. I was working then too at the Hyatt Regency Hotel, and I was one of the first females and one of the first blacks that they incorporated into the Hyatt Regency Corporation. And I was working downtown at the Hyatt Regency, and they gave me an offer. I was a status operator, which meant that I put everybody into rooms, and I knew who was who. I knew who was in what rooms, and I was over all the VIPs, the dignitaries, and that was my job. Anyhow, the Hyatt Regency in Atlanta was having problems. So they asked for a crew to go to Atlanta and straighten up the Hyatt Regency in Atlanta. So that's how I ended up in Atlanta, Georgia. And ending up in Atlanta, Georgia, status operator. That's when I met the mayor, first time, Andrew Young, Minor Jackson, and a whole Jackie Wilson.
Oh, wow.
You know, as a matter of fact, Jackie Wilson ended up being my roommate. So.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I know you know so many people. So I want to make sure I get to entertainment. So when you started meeting those people, when you were doing that life, is that kind of when you started thinking that you liked entertainment? What brought you to the entertainment world?
The life of living in Atlanta, Georgia,
That makes a whole
and
lot
going
of
to
sense.
Scarlett O'Hara Underground.
What is that?
It was a club called Scarlett O'Hara Underground. It was one of the most famous clubs in Atlanta, Georgia back then. That's when the underground was the underground, which meant that it was like downtown Houston underground with La Bastille and all of those. So I got to do that, and that's when I said, and Jackie, like I said, Jackie Wilson became my roommate, but he was dating my roommate. And Sly and Family Stone, everyone used to come to our apartment, and we used to just hang out. I ain't gonna tell you what we was doing hanging out, but we hung out. We hung out real tough.
Had a good time.
Yes. And anyhow, I got tired of Atlanta, and I hadn't been back home. I moved to Atlanta.
You were gone a long. I mean, I know that I wasn't born in '69, but
yeah, I was gone.
You were gone a long time.
I stayed away for a whole year without even contacting my family. And that November, I said, you know what, I'm going home.
Okay.
I came home to see my parents.
Okay.
And that was like Thanksgiving.
Okay.
New Year's Day, I was on my way to New York City.
Too funny.
Yeah.
Then when you went to New York, I know that was exciting.
Well, let me back up with the entertainment too.
Okay.
I'm going to back up to my childhood because KYLK had a thing that was called every Friday where they showcased different schools.
Oh, okay.
And they showcased the cheerleaders and the football teams. So every Friday, I got to be a junior disc jockey on KCOH.
Okay.
That's when I met George Boogaloo Frazier, and I was like 12 years old then. So that drew my interest to be in that field.
Okay.
And he became my mentor, my
What was
friend.
his name again?
George Boogaloo Frazier.
Boogaloo. Okay.
Yeah. So that it started off back then, and then I lost contact with Boogaloo and everybody. So then when I married my second husband, him being with Mandrill, the group out of New York, and he was around entertainment, so I
So you
jumped
got
back
the bug.
into it.
You
Yeah.
got the bug. So how long did you stay in New York?
2 years.
Okay. And then you came back to Houston?
No, I've been to at least 25 different countries in my life, and I've been to every state and every major city in the United States.
Oh wow, okay.
Being in the entertainment business, yeah.
So is that so what about entertainment got your eye, grabbed you, that you knew that you wanted to start being around this kind of thing?
Not the entertainment, the excitement, but I made money.
Oh, okay.
I made good money.
Okay.
Because it came to a point where that the entertainers and the artists themselves trusted me.
Okay.
And they trusted me to the point where that anything they asked for,
You could get it.
I could get it.
Sounds like somebody you know. No, I'm just
Yeah!
Sounds like somebody I know.
So yeah, that was it. And,
Okay.
And then after that, I was in L.A., Los Angeles, and Natalia was on the road.
That's your second husband?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Boogaloo came to L.A., and that's when I got introduced to Jose Wilson, Larry Maxwell, Smokey Robinson, Quincy Jones.
Oh, wow.
And
So were these people like down to earth? Like, were they cool? Like,
they were with me.
Okay.
They were with me because I was naive, so it was. But the thing about it is that I didn't care who they were.
And that's probably why they felt comfortable.
Yeah, my mom always taught me that I was number one.
Okay.
So by her teaching me that, all her kids, not just me, you know, she taught all her kids that, you know, you can and you are better than the next person regardless to, you know, how you feel or what people say about us, because she was a single parent with 10 children. So I got bullied a lot in school.
Did you get bullied about being small?
Yes, but I got bullied about being not small, skinny.
Skinny, yeah. Skinny, pole.
Yeah, skinny, pole.
All those ugly words.
All above. Your mom got 10 children, you ain't got
Oh, they
no
would teach you like
daddy.
that?
Yes.
I know my daughter told me, my oldest daughter told me one day, not too long ago, that they used to call her, because she's dark, and I didn't know this, but they called her, God, what did they call her? Black something, but whatever it was made me mad. So I was telling her daddy about it just like 2 weeks ago. He ready to go find him, right? Right, yeah. Black people, something, and then she came. But the funniest one was when she was I was working at a middle school. She came in crying hard. I was like, "What's wrong with them?" They said I was skinny enough to hula hoop with a Cheerio. I was like, they still say that. So.
No, they did.
Yeah.
That is too funny.
Big and fat now.
Big and fat, yes.
And we
exactly.
still fine and sexy.
There you go.
Hello.
There you go.
I love it.
And talk about the man in your life.
Which one? Wow.
The main man in your life. The one that you birthed, that you brought here.
My main man is my son, Jonathan Ashcog Lee.
Okay.
He is my heart. He's my pride.
Always.
He's my glory. And let me tell you, for years I was trying to get pregnant for babies with my husbands, and I never could conceive. And if I did conceive, I had miscarriages. And so when I got pregnant with Jonathan, I was like 4 months pregnant before I knew I was pregnant. And so I go to the doctor, and he was my main doctor, my gynecologist. And he said, "What do you think's wrong with you?" I said, "I think this tumor, these fibroids are really growing in me." He said, "Really? Well, he said, "First I want you to go take a urine test." I did that. And then the nurse came and drew some blood. So he comes in the room, he says, "So you think it's a tumor, huh?" I said, "That's the only thing I can think of, and it's steady growing." He said, "And guess what? In another 6 months, you're going to have a real baby." And I jumped up off the table, run down.
So you were excited?
I was thrilled. I was so excited. I'm running down the
I'm
hall.
going to tell you,
naked.
your mama, my grandma B said, "Oh, Jonathan going to be on a horse." So when you started doing the club business, was that before bull riding or after bull riding?
It was all before. I started doing the clubs when I moved back to Houston, which was in 1980.
Okay,
And
okay.
I started doing the clubs. And at that point, Charles Bush, who was a club owner of like 33 clubs.
Wow. In Houston? Or
In Houston.
just
No, in
surrounding?
Houston. In Houston.
It was that many clubs
We
in
had
Houston?
33 clubs in Houston,
Get
Texas.
out of here.
Yeah.
We don't have nowhere near that now, do we? I mean, as far as
Not as far as
prominent
black.
moving. Okay.
Not
but-
as far as black
Okay,
clubs are
okay.
concerned. And we weren't just in the black neighborhoods.
Okay.
We were all north, east, west, and south of the city of Houston. And we had so many clubs, and I was his vice president at one time. And then we had a record label called Grand Records. That's how Captain Jack and
Captain Jack!
yeah,
Don't
Captain
do
Jack.
it like that, baby.
Yeah, and I know a lot of you have heard of Kathy Griffin, who's now a spokesperson for human trafficking of females.
Okay, okay.
And that's her job now. And she always say, "Pat Headen, can you imagine? Here I am, a felony with a badge."
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So she had a felony. She was
She
out
was,
there.
yeah.
She was something else.
Yeah,
back then,
yeah, but she turned her life
changed.
around, and she's doing wonderful things in the
Okay.
community. And she's been on Oprah Winfrey.
But I'm thinking she's been on the Isaiah Factor. That's why I'm thinking about her. But anyway, go ahead. I mean the same.
So that's the person. And Kathy, I was her mentor. I taught her the club business.
Okay.
And
Did she ever work at? So she worked at the clubs
Yeah,
before.
yeah, but she was on Grand Records with a song called "Undress Me, Baby."
Oh.
And back then, Charles Bush hosted one of the largest black conventions in the world, which is called Natural.
Okay.
And we hosted it at the Hyatt Regency Hotel. And Kathy and Captain Jack, John Williams, who wrote some of the lyrics, they did it, and it was really. And we had black entertainers, black executives, white record companies, everybody was at the Hyatt Regency.
Okay.
And
Well,
guess
what do you? Go ahead.
who was over it?
Who?
Me.
Pat Headen.
Patricia Robinson said, "Don't leave Ray. Those were the good days. Don't leave out Ray."
Ray Barnett.
Ray
yes.
Barnett.
Ray Barnett was the gentleman who owned a lot of clubs in Houston, Texas also.
Was Ray Barnett to say,
Latin
Walter,
World.
if you
gonna ride.
if you swing, you gonna ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that Ray Barnett was also Charles Bush's mentor.
Oh, really?
So Charles Bush trained under Ray Barnett at the club called Latin World, which is on Harrisburg.
Okay.
So that was very exciting.
What do you think is the difference in back then? Why they were able to have so many nice adult black clubs back then and now? Like, what's the difference? Like, what?
I feel because our Caucasian friends did not want us to attend their clubs. So then once we opened up all our clubs, because back then liquor wasn't even being taxed.
Oh, really?
The door wasn't being taxed. But
That's why people keep fussing at me talking about, well, back then we didn't have to pay to go to no club. We didn't have to pay to go to clubs.
Exactly.
Because they could just make money off the liquor and not have to pay taxes.
Exactly.
No one's ever told me that.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
So once they saw, believe me, how much the Bush Enterprises was making, not only did they start taxing each bottle of liquor, they started taxing the sales.
Yeah.
So that means our revenue and our taxes, So then we had to start charging at the door.
Gotcha. So that's a
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna use that one now because I was fussing because people always go, I don't understand. We never have not can tell them. I used to just tell them about the lights and the gas and pay the people, but that makes sense.
No. Then at the clubs we would have happy hour, and our slogan was "We pour whiskey," which meant that we poured whiskey. We didn't give you no ounce of whiskey. We gave you whiskey. Happy hour, and then the drinks were like you get a double shot for $4. So you can drink, and my club opened up at 11 o'clock a.m. because the gentleman, Grocery Supply, and all the companies that were there, they liked happy hour. And then they liked watching the Young and the Restless, the Bold and the Beautiful. So I had all the men, for happy hour.
So is the most popular club that you worked at for childhood, was that the Champagne Club?
To me it was, but it wasn't.
Okay.
Pizzazz. His
was a
club,
different
Pizzazz. Pizzazz was out off of Westheimer.
Okay.
Right there at Sioux Park. It was right there where Raging Cajun is, across the track. Well, that track, and it was a club right there, and it was called Pizzazz, and it was one of the most.
Was it big?
It was huge, and it was beautiful.
I know
It
that
was
club.
beautiful, and then here we go again, where our Caucasian family. It was so packed every night, and it was so beautiful. Valet service, you had the ladies walking around with the cigar trays on them. You go in the bathroom, you had the valets in the bathroom. It was very elegant.
Wow.
It was very, very elegant. But, and came the point where they says, no, it's too much traffic in our neighborhood. And
Get out.
that was it. And at Pizzazz, we hosted, I've met kings and queens from different countries that we hosted parties for. Campaign, Mickey Leland, Rodney Ellis, George Peavy, Judge Peavy, Sheila Jackson Lee,
Wow.
Anthony Hall, what was the lady's name that was mayor back then? Kathy Whitmire.
Wow.
So all of those were associates of mine because I did a lot of campaigning for them.
And you have a lot of associates, and we're going to come back to the club, but let's just go into all these people that you know since you're mentioning it. Flip Wilson, right off the bat. You knew I was going to ask you that. But Flip Wilson, my auntie was a good friend of Flip Wilson. I'm going to just tell you the story that I always think is so awesome. Flip Wilson wrote, my grandmother used to sell Shackley vitamins. And Flip Wilson wrote her a check for a nice amount to buy some Shackley. And he signed it just Flip. See, that's when you know you somebody, when you just be Flip.
Yes.
So, what was that? What was that going on with Flip Wilson? Where did you meet Flip Wilson?
I met Flip Wilson actually at one of Charles Busch clubs called the Big Apple.
Okay.
And that was the time of the premiere Uptown Saturday Night.
Oh, okay.
And he invited the whole cast from Uptown Saturday Night there. And there was a gentleman sitting across from me that kept playing with my legs, with his feet.
Oh, well, maybe I need to, next time somebody playing with my legs, I probably...
And I'm looking, I didn't know who he was, because I've never really actually been off into entertainers and all that because that was their money.
Right.
But I made that money.
Yeah.
I made money off of them.
Right.
And so his bodyguard gives me a note, says, Mr. Wilson wants you to meet him at the Hyatt Regency Hotel. And I went. And from that moment, him and I had a relationship for 40 years. He died November the 25th, 1998. The last time I spoke to him was that 7 days prior, which is like November maybe the 12th or something. It was a Thursday. And he called my aunt's house.
Oh.
And I just happened to be walking in my auntie's house.
Okay.
And she says, that's a call for you. She said, they must have knew you was coming here. I said, no. And it was Flip on the phone, and he was still sick from his liver cancer. But he wanted to know how our son was doing.
And that's Jonathan.
That's Jonathan. He wanted to know how our son was doing and wanted me to know that he would always be taken care of.
Okay.
So he claimed my son, and he claimed him. I let him claim him. Shit.
I don't know what that means right there, but
Don't worry about it.
I'm not gonna dig deep into that part.
Well, I ain't in the interview. I want to ask a question
Yeah.
about Earl Campbell.
Yeah, that's what.
Because we used to get all the stuff. We used to get records and the Love You Blue paraphrase.
What was the song called? The Houston Oilers artists come. Houston artists number one. Yeah.
Well, Earl Campbell, yeah.
And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I used to, you know, that was one thing about me in the music industry, in the entertainment industry, is that all the entertainers that I met, they fell in love with my family, especially my mother.
Yeah.
So everyone from Esther Phillips, Isaac Hayes, to Flip Wilson, to the crazy man that I love truly, Johnnie Taylor.
Oh, I was like,
All the way to Harry still living, so Harry Coons, you know, everyone knows of my family, but that was, when they came to Houston, that's where they wanted to come eat.
because my grandmother was gonna feed everybody.
Yes. So you would go
Everybody.
you would go down South Acres, and you literally see in my front yard, there's Esther Phillips sitting at the,
At the door.
no, she'd be sitting at the flower bed.
Oh.
drinking. I held myself with a lot of respect,
Yeah.
you know.
And you are, do you account that to just being a people person?
Being a people person, and I still say my childhood upbringing.
Okay. We're gonna talk some more about the clubs, and then we're gonna take a break and move into a different area. So the clubs. So when did you decide to do the Champagne Club? Is always
It was my baby.
you know what, I always call it the Triangle Club.
The
That's
Triangle,
everybody. So
exactly.
guys, the club that is now called, I don't know what it's called
It's
now,
been
because it's been
called-
several things.
But it's right there at the Triangle on Zachary and
It's
OST.
changed again because another lady had it.
Yeah.
But it was remix. It was
Honey for the bees.
Honey for the Bees. It's been
Yeah.
everything. But it was when I was a little girl, it was the Champagne Club.
Champagne room.
And I remember when I went in there, when somebody first, well, when I got older, and I first went there. I went there to help somebody learn swing out dancing. And I went in there, and I just saw myself as a little girl in that little window drinking my Shirley Temple.
Yes.
Because me and my daddy used to come in there.
Yes, that
Did you
was
ever
his-
go in there, Tony?
That was his famous place.
My daddy loved
not just my whole family.
Oh, a full cup of cherries. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They said, that lady over there said she want a couple of cherries. Oh, that's my niece. Give her whatever she wants. As long as it ain't liquor, give her whatever she wants.
That's when I first found out about the Shirley Temple. I don't know, but anyway.
It was a Shirley Temple and
something else.
They had the virgin pina coladas.
Maybe that's what I just know. We did Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
So what was so special about the Champagne Club?
It was the first club I ever had.
Because it was so small.
Yeah,
but people loved it.
It was small, but my revenue on a night was $5,000, and I'm selling drinks for like 2 for 1. And not only, it was an intimate club, and it was a place where all the doctors, the lawyers, the policemen.
Do you think they were attracted to the Champagne Club because of the adult atmosphere? Do you think that's a thing?
No, because of the host.
The host, okay.
Head,
So do you
head.
think do you think that's what we're missing sometimes now, to where some of the clubs can't? Champagne. Well, I'm gonna just be honest with you. That club there that's sitting there now, that was a Champagne Club. They've had, I know, 10 owners in the last 10 years.
Well, you know, any club that's there, if they don't have the right person with the right attitude, they have to be a people person, because number one, my thing about it is that when you come into a club, you're coming to have a good time. But I'm finna feed you. I'm finna give you your bottle. And I'm gonna treat you like a baby. And I'm gonna be attentive to your needs. Because you're coming there. So the bartender and the DJ are the two most important people of a club.
Okay.
They control the whole club.
And they can make or
with,
break.
Yeah, and with a great host, a hostess like myself, I know you're coming back.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna give you that #1 service.
So do you, when you do go out now, in some of the places you go to, is that what you see that's missing sometimes?
Yes.
I find that some of the club owners have lost that matter of fact, a club owner has come, because I used to think I wanted to run a club. I still know that I could run a club and I can make it successful because of some of the things that you've said. That's my belief. But I've had club owners tell me that the club has nothing to do with customer service. And I'm like, you want
A
people to come in
club
and
is
spend their
all
money.
about customer service, and I think that's why it's important to have a good host or a good hostess at your club, and that is a people person that can talk to everybody. You know, you get cursed out, they call you, I mean, especially me, they call me now, look, let's skinny baby. Okay, you know, that's okay. Hi,
I'm
how
still
are
grinning.
you?
Yeah,
You know, yes,
yeah,
you have
yeah.
to do that. And then, you know, that comes a point where yes, you might have to ask a person to leave your club, but there's still a way to do it. And
A
then
way
if,
to- exactly.
if you can't do it that way, then you just call 911. Don't even be bothered.
Did you have to ever put anybody out?
Oh, I put people out and put them in jail too.
But you put them out in a nice way.
Yeah.
That didn't sound right. That didn't sound right.
No, I would put them out in a nice way, but my customers, I knew them and I knew their families.
Okay.
So if and then you got to remember, the Champagne Room was full of police with Lee Patrick Brown, who was the chief of police, Stringfellow, Billy D. Williams, Stalky
Everybody
Gray.
came through there.
Yes, so
Yeah.
you know, and so if someone was having a problem in my club, I would go ask that person, would you please come down? Is there something I can do? Maybe I can make you a drink. And if they still got belligerent with me, I just walk over to one of the police officers.
Yeah, there
and
you
say,
go. I didn't think about that.
I'm having a problem over there. And they would sit there and they would watch, and then, you know, they would get up and they wouldn't even badge them. They would just get up and say, hey, ma'am, you know, if you're having a problem or you're having a problem, why don't you step on the outside? And then if they got ignorant with the police officers, then they badged them. But they calmed down and, you know, they asked me what did I want. I said, if they're not intoxicated, you know, so they can sit there.
Yeah.
But
They gonna act right.
Yeah.
As a woman in that business, how tough was it?
Very. You know what made it tough? It wasn't the customers, it was the employees.
Really?
Yes, it wasn't the customers, it was always the employees. And especially with myself, because I was new on the scene. On the Old Spanish Trail, you know, Charles Bush just said, Pat Head, here, that's your club. He never trained me. He just said, I'm going to give you everything you need, the money, the liquor. You do whatever you want to do with it.
I couldn't get that. Why I couldn't get that?
And so he did that, and
He what? He did use. I just found that out the other day.
no, that was Mary Wilson that owned. It was then King Leo.
Bar 88.
No, the person that owns 50/50 his name is Julius.
Yeah, someone told me that Charles Bush has some business here in Houston still with some of these clubs like Bar 88 and no, not Maxwell's.
Well, I cannot speak of that because he's never expressed that to me. But
Right.
he does have different things at different airports.
Okay.
That I do know. He has promised me that he would build me a country western club. So I'm
One of
still
these
waiting.
days.
Yeah.
Well, then
But
I'm gonna
right
come work
about
with
now-
you if you ever get that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come
Yeah.
work.
So yeah, that's it.
So I'm gonna be interviewing, doing a panel with a women in the industry because I see that even with me, I was just telling somebody else other day that for me wanting to be in the business so bad, you know, people say, oh, she wants to be a club manager, and they look at your cute, they look at all those different things, but they're really not thinking about, did you have brains? Did you ever have that issue, meaning that they're wanting other things from you, and so they'll use you or have you do stuff that they want them to, like?
That happens all the time.
I worked a club for 10 years.
That happens all the time, and let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you about life. Everybody wants number one. So if you're in the club business and you're the manager or you're the owner and you're female, you're number one. So everybody that walks through that door, male or female, they're
trying to get the number one.
And I was number one. I was number one in all of Mrs. Bush's clubs at one time.
But you knew how to. Well, you had to learn because you said you got thrown into this.
Yeah. I had to teach myself, and I had different people working for me that had been working on the strip, as we called it. And they taught me well.
Okay.
They taught me how they could steal my money. You know, they taught me how they could pour my whiskey and overpour it and get paid, and I wouldn't get paid. You know.
Yeah.
And
that was probably where you learned.
The hardest thing was that once I learned how to count each drink in a bottle of whiskey, and I knew that, okay, this bottle of whiskey is to make this X amount of dollars. So now if you didn't empty 10 bottles of whiskey,
I should have this much money.
and I only got $200, we got a problem.
Gotcha.
You're stealing my money, and you
Right.
need to give me back my money.
Right.
You know, so I went through that.
How long did it take you to learn that?
Oh, about 6 months.
Okay.
6 months after being short, and I'm spending back then whiskey was really cheap. I'm spending every day case of whiskey was costing me like $900.
It's funny that you say whiskey too. The guy I used to work for,
Well,
he
liquor.
always say whiskey.
Well, liquor.
They stealing my whiskey. They stealing my whiskey.
Yeah.
So
Old
so
school,
people say
yeah,
that.
old school,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And so you figure if you spending $1,200 a day on a case of liquor, then you're at the end of the night. If you done emptied 12 bottles, then you should have at least $5,000. You know, and it wasn't happening.
It wasn't happening.
So
How were they when you started questioning them?
Oh Lord,
offended?
it would take my friend Linda Lou to tell you about that. I got so mad one night. Linda Lou, Kathy Griffin, somebody, Lynn. It was about 6 waitresses. CJ, her name was CJ, and I asked them to have a seat. And I pulled out my pistol.
Oh Lord!
And I put one bullet in the chamber, seriously. And I said, you know what? I'm finna play Russian roulette with y'all because I'm sick of y'all stealing my money. I am really tired of it. And I set it up where I put 3 $100 bills in my register under the drawer, and it's gone. So I don't know who's stealing my money, but ain't nobody leaving out here tonight until y'all give me my money.
Get out of here!
My best girlfriend, she said, well, I quit.
Linda Lou said it?
No, she just said, you're not finna play Russian roulette with me, I quit. And the rest of us was sitting there. And when Linda Lou said it, it was so funny. I just had to bust out laughing, you know.
You couldn't even be serious no
I couldn't
more.
even be serious. And then I didn't want to hurt nobody, but I wanted them to know that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I'm sick of y'all stealing my money. I'm sick of y'all
Ooh,
thinking
I bet they
because
was
I'm
not
new.
expecting that gun to come out.
No, they were not. And Linda Lou said, well, you know what? She got her glass. You know, if anybody know Linda Lou, she thought, well, you know what? I quit. So,
I don't
and
blame
it was so funny. It was so
So
funny.
did anybody say that they took it?
No, it just came up. The money just came up. You know, I walked in the back, me and Linda Lou laughing. I said, girl, you know, I ain't finna shoot nobody. And so I went back to the register and I said, you know what, y'all can just go on and go, but don't come back anymore. And I opened the register and there was some $3 $100 bills.
Get out of
But
here.
nobody never said who did it.
So did they really get fired? Did you let them come back?
Of course they got
Oh,
fired.
okay. And you just hired your whole, because
I had my sister, I was training my sister Gwen.
that's right, and Gwen was
You know, my sister Gwen, and then a couple of more friends that were in college that needed, and they all came back one by one because they were good. They were good waitresses. I mean, they were some
They were
of the,
stealing.
Yeah, they were stealing, but they were really good waitresses to
Yeah.
my customers.
Right.
And a lot of my customers came in there to see the waitresses that they came familiar with, that they enjoyed being with.
Yeah.
They, you know, they were not stealing from the customers.
Right.
They were stealing from Pat
you.
Head.
Yeah.
So once I got that little bug straight and I learned the liquor business, you couldn't stop me then.
And on that note, before we go to break, do you think, I have this philosophy that if you hire the right people, that's oftentimes, a lot of people like to hire people who I call club hoppers, the ones that go from club to club to club because they've been fired from every club. Do you think that it's important to that it's okay to maybe hire people that love the club business but have different types of jobs? I always thought that was a key.
I think it's important to hire people who really need the money.
Okay.
You know, and you can actually tell when say for instance yourself, you already have a full-time job.
Right.
So you coming in there for a part-time job that's only paying you $8.75. That means you need your money, and you're going to be a good helper until you learn how to steal my money.
Right. Because somebody in there going to try to show you.
Yeah, but you know, and those were the ladies that I hired. Even that there's a young man now that's on the country and western scene. We call him Ray Ray.
Okay.
But I let Ray Ray work at my club when he was 10 years old, emptying trash, throwing away bottles and all that, and da-da-da-da. And now he's older, and he'll tell everybody, she gave me my first break.
Okay.
You know, and as he got older, he disappeared, and he come back, he disappeared, and he come back. But I could always depend upon Ray Ray. And Ray Ray would say, Mama Pat, she's stealing your money.
And you know what? You always got to have somebody like that, too,
Yes,
that have your back.
yes, and he had my back. So, yeah.
Okay,
so.
okay.
You always, when you go into that business, you always want to find a person that has your back. But the main thing is that you treat everybody right.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
that is, I mean, you treat them with so much respect that they have to. give you respect. Now you may have some low-lifers that does not know what respect is, but and then they make a little bit of money and their tips may not be nothing. Then you just turn around and give them something and say thank you.
Yeah.
You know, and that was my whole thing. So I kept good health.
And there are club owners that we know that don't like to pay. That there are times that, I don't know, waitresses have to beg for their money or people have to get their money. Did you always try to make sure, and you, even Mr. Bush, did y'all always believe in making sure that your waitresses, people that work for y'all got paid?
People that worked for me got paid, and there was times I didn't get paid because we didn't make the whole payroll that evening.
But you wanted to make sure that...
I made sure that they got paid, and then if I couldn't pay them, I said, when we open up tomorrow after happy hour, I will pay you.
Okay.
Because there were times, you know, where that my liquor was more than my receipts were.
Wow.
So, but that's when I would let them know, you know, there is a time where somebody's taking all my money and I don't like it and you can't get paid.
Is y'all taking my money?
Yes, I would make an example to say, well, no, nobody's getting paid tonight.
Okay.
You know, and then the next day, the next night, they come, my cash register, my receipts just be overflowing because everybody wanted their money.
They want their money.
So I never tried to keep no one's money.
Okay, so you did it as a tactic almost.
Yes.
Okay,
And
that was smart.
Yeah, but I found a lot of club owners now, and number one, I'm just going to be honest with you, they're foreigners. They're from different countries. And the club owners that are from different countries, and I hope you're looking at this, they don't care about women anyhow. And their whole thing is that they feel that female women are beneath them, so they try not pay them. They talk down to them because I've been in clubs and I've heard club owners, especially on Westheimer and Richmond, how they talk to their female waitresses. And Amita, yes. And it really pisses me off. And these are people that need their jobs. They need their money.
Right.
You know, because their mortgage is more than their income, so they need a second job. And I think it's a shame that you club owners who are out there from other countries that treat your employees the way you do. And I know you're making money because I'm sitting there and I'm watching you, and I count very well.
And she old school, so she know.
Yeah, so, you know, you all need to
do better with that.
do
Because you know
better.
what, if you work, even in, you know, I come from, I don't know, I'm going to just use an example. I had a boss at my job. His name was Sheldon Moss. And Sheldon would do what we did. Sheldon would, if we was out on a Saturday morning working hard and recruiting people, he was there.
But see, that was my thing.
So that's the thing. If you get in the trenches with your employees, they will do whatever you need for them to do.
That was my thing. I'm not going to ask you to clean a bathroom and I can't clean it.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to ask you to pick up glass and I can't do it.
Yes.
So if you're waiting on my customers and the bathroom is overflowing, what am I going to do? I'm going to go in there and clean that damn bathroom.
Right.
And that way, with my employees, they knew this. So
Okay.
it was good. But
Okay.
these new club owners,
Yeah, it's a lot of things that have changed, but I think if and that's pretty much, in my opinion, that's with all kind of business. If people just treat their employees with some type of respect, the way they want to be treated, you know. And even I don't like. I know a lot of club owners like to, and even now in some of the last jobs I've had, the micromanaging. And I know they say so. I was always told you have to watch. As soon as they come in the building, you can't trust them. Well, my thing was I wasn't going to hire anybody. That the particular club I was managing, I wasn't going to hire you. I'm not going to hire you if I don't trust you right off the bat. It doesn't make sense.
If you come for an interview and you're negative, why should I hire you?
Yeah. If I think automatically, okay, she's going to steal, so that would be crazy for me just to hire her. So
not
if I
just
hire
steal
you,
her attitude.
that too, yeah.
The attitude.
Yeah.
That's number one. The
Yeah.
customers.
Yeah.
You know.
Because it's a customer, and that's the biggest thing. Again, some of the club owners have lost the customer service aspect. They think that customer service is, you know what they think? You remember old school movies where
I need something to drink. My asthma. Just some water.
where the old school clubs where people were gangsters? I
They
think
dress.
that's what some of people think. Well,
Yeah.
everybody, we're gonna take a little break.
Yes, because
And
my asthma is
we're
messing
gonna
up.
let my auntie have a little bit of rest. You know, I can talk. If y'all, those that know me know, I can talk all day, all night. So we're going to let her have
She
some
got it,
rest.
honestly. Trust me. Her Aunt Pat can too.
I do. Thank you, Aunt Pat. I'm so excited about interviewing you. You have so much. My little paper here, like, we ain't even got to stuff. But anyway, thank y'all for listening. I hope you come back. If not, just remember that I am on YouTube, so this will be edited, and it will be shown on my YouTube channel, which is called Chat with Trina, YouTube. So it's youtube.com/Chat with Trina.
And
All right?
I wish everybody would hit me up on Facebook,
Hit her up on Facebook, y'all.
please, and let me know what you think.
Yes. Hey everybody, this is Chat with Trina really quick, just to let you know that it's not over. There is a part 2. Can you believe it? There was so much stuff going on in part 1. There is a part 2, and you've got to watch it. She's going to talk more about the Champagne Room and what it did for the Houston community, and also what it did for some of our African-American politicians here in Houston. She's going to talk about when she became a champion bull rider. She's going to talk about COVID, what she would have done if she was a club owner during this time. She's going to talk about writing a book. There's so much more. Don't miss part 2. I promise you won't regret it. Don't forget to watch it. Chat with Trina, part 2 with Aunt Pat.